Hello all. So, Pit Bike Mike. As you can see, I'm missing a couple of things on the bike. Well, it has finally happened. I have finally melted off my turn signal. So, which brings me to this. TST Industries. I have gotten a tail tidy. So, let's get to it. Alright, so with the TST Industries for the KLX 230, gives me this fancy new tail light, which it's going to have the integrated turn signals into them. So I also made sure to get the relay so I can not have hyper flash or any other weird craziness. So going on to the story, just want to give you a little bit of backstory on that. When I put this Norei Fume exhaust on, I kind of knew that eventually I was probably going to melt a turn signal. So, I was out doing a ride, used the turn signal to get into a gas station, all that good stuff. Well, little did I know that was the last time that turn signal would ever blink. Because as I was leaving and I started doing this ride, my turn signal doesn't work again, or isn't working. And I'm like, that's really weird. So I'm riding around not thinking anything of it. I get off the bike and, like I said, I noticed that I am missing a turn signal. So, a lot of fun, kind of interesting. I've been wanting to do the tail tidy on this bike for a while, which honestly, without having a anything on the back, it really looks dirt bike-ish now, which I truly wish that I could keep it like that, but I'm pretty sure the authorities wouldn't like it. So I know it doesn't help that I started off most of this with all the body panels pretty much removed, which I'll be honest, this is super easy. You got like 2 8mm bolts here that pops off this cover. On the other side, you just put the key in. On this side, here, just to make it a little easier, this side is the side that you turn the key, and then it's just these little rubber grommets that pops off. And then you got 10mm bolts on each side. The whole seat just slides right off. So let me get all this off and we will get started and see what we see. Well, first let me also just show you the stuff that comes with here. So it's all plug and play. I don't have to splice or do anything crazy. Let's see, they gave me a little bit of hardware. I'm guessing that's for my little bracket. And yeah, so I'm gonna look to see if they gave me instructions. I think they did. I don't really know. But I will, worst case scenario, even if they didn't, which I'm gonna double check, but I'm guessing the install shouldn't be that bad. Well, let me get this figured out and then we will keep at it. So we're gonna start by getting these 10mm seat bolts removed so we can get access to everything, get a good look-see on what we're dealing with here. Alright, seat just comes right off, super easy. Now we're going to switch back to 8mm bolts for these 4 right here to take that little tail section right on off. Boom. Boom. Alright, tail section comes right on off, super easy. Can't really complain about that too much. Now, So, because my fancy dancy owner service manuals come in handy for this, this right here is the flasher relay. So this is the part that I'm going to be swapping out for the new flasher relay. Right turn signal, left turn signal spot. This was the brake light, and then this right here was for the tag light. So super easy. When you're removing this, you also do remove these two 12 mil and two 8 mil, and that will get the rest of that section right there off, and then that piece will just slide right on out. So, and then this right here, my bad, you have these two 12 mil also. But super easy to get all this off. Like when I did it the other day to get the bike prepared for this, it literally took like 5 minutes, if that. Got my ECU right there, got the air box, which I probably should check the air filter. I haven't done that in a while, well, ever since owning this bike, and I actually just went over 3,000 miles. So, but that'll be another video. So let's you know, start breaking into this kit and see what is going to be involved on getting it in. All right, so there isn't really any instructions with this kit, so I'm just gonna have to kind of figure it out. So this, obviously, I can tell slides on like that, and then I got these two you know, these two screws that I'll be able to screw into the back of this plate, you know, right here, that go into the back of those back of that tail light. So my words were a little escaping me. So let me get this bolted together, and then this is going to be the bracket. Right here is going to be the bracket for my license plate. So I just got to figure out how this is going to get installed, which it's probably going to be underneath of this tail light, so it should be all super easy. So let me get a start on this, and hopefully it turns out the way that we're thinking. So as you can see, we got the screw that's going to go through this bracket and this, and to the back of the light. Just got to be careful because it is plastic, so we're not trying to crack it and cause a whole lot of issues. So it's not like we're going to be using an impact gun or nothing to tighten this stuff up. So there we go. Got a nice little look-see on this. So now I'm just gonna have to try to see how it's actually gonna mount up onto the bike back here. I just have it temporarily in place, so it looks like these bolts right here aren't gonna be reused. So super simple design. So what it does is you see how it has those little tabs right there? This sits there, and then pretty much I'm gonna end up bolting these, you know, right there into place, and it's gonna lock up underneath of this bracket and then hold that into place. And then this, I just, you know, run the wires up and through nice and clean to where it needs to be, get it plugged in. So it should be easy. So let me get working on getting these bolts done up. So good news is the locking nuts that they give you do work with the OEM sized bolts. So if for some reason you don't want to use the hardware that they gave you, luckily it's the same thread pitch and everything, so very nice that it all works together like that. I know I just said this, or, well, I didn't say this. So it does come with extra washers. So I think I am going to use them underneath of here because, like, you know, with that bolt in place, like, yes, it technically holds, but I think the washer, there's enough space to where, you know, it just probably give it a better secure fit. So let's do that and see how it comes out. All right, so the top part right here, 8 mil, bottom part is a 10 mil. So should be pretty easy on tightening that down. Right. Now that I have these bolts locked into place, I am going to attach the connector to connect this tail light up to the OEM clips and all that good stuff. So I have a working tail section. So let's get it plugged in and see what it looks like. Right. Have that upside down, so clipped into place, all nice and good. Looks like we got this part. It's going to connect in back here, like so. Clip. So what I am gonna have to do, because I don't want to cut this sheathing right here to pull it back, there's a little tab right here, and what you do is when you push that down, it will allow the turn signal bracket to come free. So unfortunately, there doesn't seem, since there isn't instructions, it doesn't tell you which side goes to which. So there might be a little bit of, you know, trial and error, because since these are the exact same and they're not color coded like the OEM ones are, you know, like I said, gonna be a little trial and error, see what happens. All right, so before we get too far, we're gonna try out the turn signals, see what works. All right, so we have lights. Let's try a brake light. All right, that seems to work. All right, we're going to try now the left turn signal. All right, I have them backwards, but that's kind of cool looking. All right, so we have left turn signal, looks like it's going to be the green wire. The right turn signal is going to be the brown. Let's give it one more shot just to give it a try. All right, got the right turn signal and the left turn signal. All right, what we're going to do is try to get that relay put in, and then we will see if it fixes that hyper flash. All right, so I unplugged the OEM relay, which for the turn signal right here. So all this did was just slide off that metal bracket right there, and I have the new one plugged in, which it seems like there's only one way to really plug it in, so I got it on my first attempt. The only problem is I'm gonna have to figure out how to mount this into there. So to give you all a little taste of what it looks like with the relay in. So it did start off a little fast, but then it kind of settles down into the proper rhythm, which is all nice and good. Now, for the tail section, this part right here. So there on that right there, there's a rubber piece that it goes over top of that. So you're gonna need to remove that, unscrew this, and put some washers underneath. You know, just not very big, but just big enough, because what this will end up doing is sliding right into that slot right there. And then after you know, all that good stuff, definitely gonna have to figure out this wiring, which, you know, you kind of fold it in on itself. Definitely not the prettiest, but it will slide together like this. So obviously I'm gonna have to figure out, you know, like a neater, you know, tightening up the wires to make it not look like such a rat's nest, and figuring out how to mount this securely so this isn't bouncing around and causing a failure. So as I'm doing that, figuring that out, we will, yeah, let me get that figured out and then we'll get the rest of this bike put back together. All right, so I use the zip tie to keep all these nice together, you know, all like into this little valley right here. And then so with the relay hooked up sideways onto this mount, there was a hole right there to where I was able to run the zip tie through that hole up and around to keep this securely in place. So I just got to trim those up, and then that's kind of it. And then I just got to start buttoning all this body panels back into place, and then we are in business. Definitely not the hardest project to do, but it definitely took a little bit of thought process and whatnot to get this all back together. But obviously it's not back together yet, so let me work on getting this put back together for you all so you can kind of see what I'm trying to do here. Let's get this piece slid back into place. So we're gonna have to come down here and look from the side to get it slide into that little section right there. And so once that's slid in, now we can put in these 4 bolts that will lock this into place and keep it from moving around on us too much. So what I'm doing is I'm getting all these bolts at least just started. So as I go through, I can make sure it's all, you know, centered up over the tail light so it doesn't look, you know, lopsided one way or another. So let's get this lined up how I want it. Snug that, and then we're going to just do one side, you know, we're going to do diagonal, so boom. Alright, that is snug back into place. It's close enough. It's not 100% perfect, but I don't think I could get it 100% perfect, unfortunately. So, that is that. Alright, let's work on getting this seat put back into place. Nice and simple, started up at the front. Time to put this panel on, get it up there into place, slide in like so. So, these are 2 different sizes. I may not have paid too much attention on which way which one goes. So, a little trial and error and see what happens. Alright, so it doesn't really seem to matter whether it's the longer one that went into the front part right there or back here. I'm not really sure, but it works. As you can kind of see, you see that slight like discoloration right there? That's where that little handle would be, the little strap. I decided to not put that back on because I don't know, it just gives it a nice, you know, more sleek look. So I just figured I don't really need it. So now let me work on getting this cover put back on over here. And this side's easy because it just pushes in there, and then you use the key to lock it in there, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. It is that simple on this bike, which I guess is pretty nice that it's not a big long drawn out process. But let me get that other cover put on and then we can call it a day. All right, now that we're pretty much all buttoned back up and all that good stuff, I do notice that I do have a bit more of a gap back here between the seat and that plate. But I do believe because when this monstrosity is under there, it pushes this part up a little bit more to where it closes up that gap. But it's real nice and tight up against that fender right there. It gives a really cool, sleek look. All right, with all the body panels and everything back on, I did a final check of everything. It all looks good. Just got to get that tag put back on, and then yeah, so that pretty much concludes my video on this TST Industries tail tidy for the 23. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure it's for all the KLX 230s, you know, like from 2019 to 2023, you know, for the States at least. So, you know, at least for my 23 Kawasaki KLX 230 Supermoto, it fits well. Everything works as, you know, described. I definitely highly recommend doing that relay so you don't have that annoying hyper flash. Yeah, look at that, super slick. So yeah, I gonna go out and give it a try. You know, hopefully it holds up to the test of time. But yeah, hope you all like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Pit Bike Mike out.